Okay, at this time, I'll call the April 13th, 2026 council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge if you can. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make a motion to adopt tonight's agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Presentations, 2025 audit.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The 2025 annual financial report has been prepared, audited, and is presented for review and approval tonight. Abdo, the city's auditor, will present the report to council. With that, I will hand it over to our auditor, Alex Triple.
All right. Like Mike said, my name is Alex. I'm a manager with our government audit group at Abdo. I've been on the audit now, working with Mike. This is my 6th year, so gotten to know him pretty well and gotten to know you guys' city pretty well. So we'll go ahead and get started and go through kind of what our plan is for tonight. We'll start with the audit opinion and responsibility, then move into some general fund results, the other governmental funds, the enterprise funds, and then some key performance indicators that just kind of show where you guys kind of line up compared to cities of the same population and size and then within Anoka County. Starting off with the results, we issue 2 audit results here. So the first one is the auditor's opinion. We are issuing an unmodified opinion under GAAP. That's stating that the financial statements are fairly stated in all material aspects. That's a clean audit opinion. That's what you're shooting for. And the Minnesota legal compliance testing noted no instances of non-compliance. That's making sure the bids and quotes statutes are being followed, payments are being made timely, stuff like that. Again, no issues there either. Moving on to the general fund, this graph shows the general fund balance as a percentage of the following year's expenditures. So that total 7.4 million there in the top in orange shows the expenditures budgeted for 2026. And that second line, that yellow one, shows the total general fund balance as a percentage of those expenditures. You can see you're well above your policy of 40% and continuing to build a good cushion there in the general fund. The general fund budget to actual statements, this first column shows your final budgeted amounts, how the total revenues and expenditures compared to that, showing the actual column there at the second one and then the variance. Those revenues exceeded the budget amounts. That's mostly due to the fire relief aid. That's about $113,000 of that amount. That total $399,000 variance. And then another big hunk of that is just conservative budgeting for interest on investments. You guys had budgeted around $80,000 and you came out with about $195,000 in interest revenue. You also had a favorable variance in expenditures coming in less than budgeted. That's mostly due to the vacancy in the community director position in 2025. There's a pretty significant budget for that that never got filled. And that transfer out, which funds building, street, park, capital projects, was right in line with budget, resulting in a total net change in fund balance of an increase of $363,000, coming to a total of $5.6 million in the general fund balance. This graph breaks out your general fund revenues by type. The most recent year under audit, 2025, is in black there. You can see that property tax increase due to that about 3% increase in your tax levy from 24 to 25. That intergovernmental revenue, you'll see a steep drop off there from 23 to 24, then it kind of planes out. That's those ARPA funds that you guys received, and then charges for services and other revenues remain fairly consistent. The expenditures in the general fund, again, super consistent, continue to increase as costs increase. The only thing here really worth noting in that other section at the very end there, that's made up of general liability, insurance, property insurance, stuff like that. The other 4, it's just those typical department budgets and the expenditures that go with those. Your capital project funds, Here we're presenting the ending fund balance as of 25 and 24, and then broken out down below by fund balance type. These capital project funds are designed to fluctuate with capital costs, capital projects. So you'll see large increases and decreases over the years as they get funded and then spend it out. So you'll see some large increases and decreases, but nothing of any concern. That's according to plan. And feel free to stop me with questions at any time. You don't have to wait till the end or anything. I'm happy to stop and explain anything. The two special revenue funds, the recycling and HRA. The recycling fund remained pretty consistent. The HRA had a significant increase. They had a lot more state grants in 25 than they did in 24, contributing to that increase while expenses remained pretty flat. And then all of that fund balance is restricted in the special revenue funds for the corresponding purpose, recycling and HRA. The two debt service the two debt service funds in the governmental side of things. This just shows the total cash in those funds, the total assets, and then the remaining debt obligations up top, and then down below it just shows within the next 10 years what the debt payments will be made up of between principal and interest on that total. These funds, the payments per year in these funds are levied for in the tax levy, so you should have no problem meeting those obligations throughout the next 10 years. Moving on to the enterprise funds, starting with water. This top graph shows the total receipts and the total cost for the year. Pretty big jump in revenue from 24 to 25. That's that increase in utility revenue, and then again a large increase in interest revenue on investments. And that bottom graph shows the total cash balance within the water fund. That minimum target balance, that is based on 50% of operating costs, so you guys are well above kind of that goal of a cash balance in the water fund. You guys have plenty of room to fund operations going forward. Sewer fund, those are the same two graphs for the sewer fund. What kind of jumps out here are those debt payments. That's due to that loan that was issued in 2023. Those payments catching on in 24 and 25. That revenue is pretty steady the past 3-4 years. The cash balance is a little lower than the water fund, still well above that minimum target balance. That minimum target balance does incorporate the tax payments that's shown above, so it's 50% of operating costs plus the following year's debt payment. The ice arena revenue increased a little bit from 24 to 25 and was able to exceed costs for the first time in the past 3 years. And then their cash operating balance is well above that target as well. It's sitting at about $140,000 total in cash. There are two internal service funds that the city uses. One of them is the equipment replacement fund, and then the second is to account for compensated absences. That will fluctuate with equipment purchases throughout the year. So this 24 cash balance decreased a little bit, mostly due to some capital equipment purchases out of the equipment replacement fund. And then this pulls together the total cash for the entire city, and then splits it out by what type of fund it's being held in. You can see the majority of that cash is being held in the general fund. And then as that cash continues to increase, the allocation remains fairly consistent across the board. These are the key performance indicators I touched on a little bit at the beginning. We compare in orange there to class 3 cities, population of between 10 and 20,000, and then cities in Anoka in yellow, and then that black bar represents East Bethel. Your guys' tax rates are a little below the other cities of similar size and also cities within Anoka County. And this tax rate mix shows up at the total tax rates made up of in the area. So your city accounts for a good majority of that, and then most of the rest of that tax rate mix is made up of the county tax rate and then a little bit within the school. Here we have your total long-term debt outstanding per capita. Again, that's well below the class 3 cities, a little bit above other cities in Anoka. And then we have the actual expenditures related to debt, per capita on the right. That's gonna be a little higher just because of, you guys do fall within the lower portion of those class 3 cities. Again, that ceiling is 20,000 people. This first graph shows the total expenditures per capita. Again, you guys are running healthy and lean compared to class 3 cities and cities in Anoka when you take into per capita. And then the capital expenditures, again, this will fluctuate with projects, equipment, purchases, but that's been fairly consistent the past 4 years. And that is all I got for you. This is the rest of our team. I'd be happy to answer any questions you guys have.
So overall, how did our finances and budgeting look?
In my opinion, it looked well. It's up to you guys. If you guys want to stay within budget, you guys did well. If you want to maximize what you guys budgeted for, you had a little left over. I mean, you spent less than you budgeted for, and you made more than you budgeted for, which is always good.
I just wanted to say I couldn't open the links to get this, so I'm wondering if they can be resent so I can look back and study it a little bit better.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right, I believe we need to,
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-17, accepting and adopting the 2025 City of East Bethel Annual Financial Report.
second. I have a motion and a second. All those, any discussion? None being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
the
sir.
presentation.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Item B, potentially dangerous dog hearing.
Mr. Mayor and Council, before you this evening is a potentially dangerous dog hearing, a public hearing that needs to be held. Just by way of background information, there was a request for this hearing based on a dog attack that occurred on February 23rd, 2026. The Sheriff's Office reported a pit bull mastiff dog by the name of Tucker, owned by Miss Perry, who approached in a threatening manner and lethally injured a domestic cat belonging to Brenda Burke on a private property at 248 Elm Road. In instances such as this, the law enforcement is called. They do research on this. You'll see the police report in here. And then at that point, it's up to the offended party, you might say, to determine if they want to have this hearing here this evening. And then testimony can be taken by both parties as it relates to what transpired that day. If currently right now it's a potentially dangerous dog, if the council decides it meets the qualification for a dangerous dog, there are a few options that are available to include destroying the animal is probably the most aggressive option. But if the owner would like to continue to keep the animal, if it's determined that it's a dangerous animal, there are 8 different restrictions that can be applied to the owner in terms of what they would need to do, to include, just naming a couple here, liability insurance, for example, which is very costly. Proper enclosures for the animals, lifetime license up to date on rabies and vaccination, which is typically the case. But at any rate, it comes to the point of the council getting to decide if it needs to go from potentially dangerous to dangerous, and that would be part of the public hearing this evening. So, Mr. Mayor, if you would call for a public hearing, we can take testimony from both parties.
All right, at this time, we'll open the public hearing. I don't know which parties are here. If you'd like to come to the podium, state your name, address, and,
One at a time or both?
However you'd like to do it.
yep.
Let a friend go Okay,
I'm Brenda Burke and I'm at 248 Elm Road.
I'm Lori Williams. I live at 246 Dogwood Road. In this particular incident, her cat was found dead in the front yard with Tucker around the cat. Nobody saw Tucker attack the cat, although one person did see him near the cat or with the cat in his mouth, but we didn't see him actually kill it. After that happened, I took Brenda to the vet to have the cat cremated, and the dog's fur was in the cat's claws.
He did, when I picked Mickey up off the ground, he was, Tucker charged at me to get to my cat. With the blood on his face,
So, anyways, there's no question in my mind he did do this.
And there was a statement that Barb had told me. She said that Tucker has killed rabbits in the yard, and she could not believe that he would do this to harm Mickey. And she also made a statement to someone else that she knows that Tucker did it. And I have no reason to believe that he did not do it. I lost my best friend. I lost my world that day.
Okay, so I'm not a dog trainer. I did work in rescue. I have handled hundreds of dogs. Tucker is not human aggressive. It does have a strong prey drive. He will be a danger to any small animal, rabbit, cat, squirrel. The bigger problem I see is Barb doesn't realize the way she's raising her dogs are causing this problem. She has a huge yard with a 6-foot.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Yep, I'm sorry. She has a 6-foot fence. She has been leaving the dogs outside to their own devices all day long while she's at work. And when you do that repeatedly with dogs, a few things can happen. They get bored. They learn to escape. They can get aggressive. They can get teased. They can get into trouble. And so I think what the problem is the way her last dog she had was a Rottweiler. She did this with that dog. That dog got aggressive with a previous city council member and had to be euthanized. So it's her behaviors that are causing this, but as a dog owner, she doesn't realize she's the problem. So she has been better since this incident. I have repeatedly contacted her. This is just a few of my contacts. On March 6th, I let her know the dogs are out. On March 15th, the dogs are out again. On March 18th, I'm getting texts, I'm not even in the neighborhood, telling me the dogs are out again. Her dogs need to be supervised. Her dogs cannot be outside unsupervised. I have a cat that stays in all winter. She chose yesterday to go out for the summer. She's 17 years old and should not have to worry about being killed by the neighbor's dog. So I think Barb loves her dogs. I think she would like to keep him, but there's two things going on here. I'm just giving you my personal experience with dogs. You guys got to decide the best way to handle this is. She would like to see the dog gone because it killed her cat. Barb would like to keep the dog. So that's kind of the situation. I did have an incident with her dog after this where my dog was outside. I didn't know what they do with my dog. She's 16 to 17. She's really old. And when she gets upset, her back legs give out. I have lung disease. Her dogs entered my yard, and I did keep yelling at Tucker, no, and he kept backing up. And I was trying to get my dog in my house. She knew I was upset. Her back legs gave out. I couldn't lift her because of my lung disease. By the time I finally got her up on my deck, I was having a breathing problem. I shouldn't have to go through that because the neighbor can't control her animals. So that's all I can tell you. I don't know if anybody has any questions. And she's always got a reason. I was on the phone, or there's always, or her roommate, she leaves the roommate in charge. Well, her roommate used to live next to me, and her dog bit me because she let her dogs run. I got bit in both arms, so not the roommate's responsibility, owner's responsibility. If my dog bites somebody, I get to pay for it. It's my responsibility. So.
Are
So-
there any other, you say that the dog, you got text messages that the dogs are out, are those from other neighbors?
Yeah, the neighbors let me know because they know I know how to get a hold of Barb to tell her, hey, your dogs are out.
Okay, but has there been any call to the sheriff
I
when
called.
those dogs are out?
Last time they got out, I called, you guys said call so we can document how much of a problem this is. So last time they were out, I called the police and I said, Barb, dogs, Carrie's, her dogs are out again. But there hasn't been an incident now for a few weeks.
Okay,
It's been pretty good. I haven't seen them out unless somebody's watching them or they're in the house. So it's been fairly controlled, but the problem with Barb is this has been going on for years. They'll be controlled for a while, like she got them electric collars, one of them broke, she just didn't replace it right away. That's when they got out this time. There's always an excuse, and it keeps happening and happening and happening. So really, the whole thing is she just needs to control her dogs. They should not be out unless they're supervised, so that they can't hurt somebody else's pet. But no, I don't believe they're human aggressive. I didn't have any trouble controlling Tucker, and he doesn't really know me. If I said no, he kept backing up. So,
okay.
But you're an adult. If a child were running around, the smaller the child, the more worried I would be. Did you want any compensation for your vet bill?
No, she did pay, reimburse me for the,
She did,
for
okay.
the cremation. She did do that.
Okay, I'm so sorry for your
Yeah.
loss. I know
he
how
was
hard
a
that is.
therapy animal,
Yeah, he
and
was
loved
my
to bite
ESA.
everybody.
I'm so sorry.
So,
And it's just, I got post-traumatic stress disorder and stuff, and it's just hard for me to start healing when I have to walk out and see the dog that had my cat's
Can't
blood on it.
imagine.
so yeah, I mean, if you guys want me to, from here on out, if they're loose, I'm just gonna call the sheriff, so she keeps getting tagged every time it happens.
Well, if it's documented, then it's documented.
Yeah, and I hate to do that, but I've talked to her, and I'm always, for over a year, every time they're loose, your dogs are loose, your dogs are loose, your dogs are, and at some point, it just needs to be controlled.
And she's not here, right?
No, she's not.
She mentioned something that a plow destroyed her gate, but I looked at pictures.
She did have, told me she had a problem, but I didn't look at her gate. But
Does-
one of the dogs knows how to climb the fence and get out.
Is it a chain link fence?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I looked at pictures. I didn't see how a plow could go
No,
4
well,
feet from the,
I think it
Street.
was over more or less the years of it being, I mean, she's tried to keep the dogs in, and I've helped her. I mean, it just, Tucker is too big and too,
He's a
rambunctious.
100-pound dog.
He's a hyper dog, very hyper,
okay, thank you.
you know.
All right, thank you. Anybody else going to speak on this? Okay, at this time, we'll close the public hearing part of it. And council discussion.
Don't we need a motion before discussion?
well, Mr. Mayor and Council, you probably want to discuss what your motion might look like.
Yeah.
If you
Okay.
don't determine that it's potentially dangerous, then you need to order one or more of the following requirements listed there. You know, the first one is a proper enclosure. That would probably solve an issue if they were actually placed in the enclosure.
Well, previously, and correct me if I'm wrong, we would make a motion to make it a potentially dangerous, not a dangerous, and then list the numbers that we want to apply.
Yep, that is one of our options.
Or is there more options?
I'll jump in, Mayor, Council. This is a hearing to determine whether or not the dog is dangerous. a potentially dangerous dog and a dangerous dog are two separate hearings. In this case, we have an animal that has killed a domestic animal off its property, on the property of another without provocation. So under the city code, this is a hearing to determine whether the dog is dangerous. I think the use of the word potential in the statute and in code causes confusion. You're determining whether or not this is a dangerous dog. Staff has identified, at least according to the process in your code, staff identifies that the dog is dangerous. This is an appeal hearing to affirm or overturn whether or not the dog is in fact dangerous. When we deal with a dangerous dog, you don't have discretion about the conditions to approve. You must approve. If you determine it's dangerous, your resolution needs to include all of those restrictions in code. When it's a potentially dangerous dog, you can pick and choose which ones apply.
Got it. Got it, okay. Well, personally, I think it should be potentially dangerous, since this is the first time it's ever came before us, even though it does have history. And if it comes back before us again, then it would be dangerous. And I would choose 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, and 8 of these stipulations on a potentially dangerous. That's my thinking, but I'm willing to be flexible.
So excluding just 3 and 4.
1, 2. Yep. 3 seems redundant, and 4 seems like it could. I'm hoping she has insurance already anyways, but 4 seems excessive. But, and because of what I heard, I added 5, that if it's outside, it needs to be muzzled because they are escape artists. And I worry about children because I know Rottweilers escalate their attacks.
So I would second that motion.
Well, I didn't make it yet. We're still discussing.
Oh, I thought you made the motion.
That would be my motion if I were going to make one, but
Do you want to make a motion?
not yet. I want to hear what everybody else has to say because I said I'm flexible. If they want to add the insurance or add the tag or take something away, I'm flexible.
Well, I would say those terms are acceptable to me. 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Jim, Tim?
Yeah, I agree. I'm concerned about the gate that's broken for starters, but that would be covered in the enclosures that would be put in.
Yep.
Sorry this happened to you. But I could back that as long as it was followed to the T. If it's not,
And she's required to be inspected, so she has to get that gate fixed one way or another.
I agree with what's been said here also. Sorry for your loss.
All right, with that, I'll make a motion to declare this dog as potentially dangerous and require items 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the stipulations listed in the ordinance.
I'd second.
Have a motion and a second. Any more further discussion? That being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes.
Hopefully this will help, even despite the loss. Hopefully this will help not have it happen again.
Exactly. I
It-
hate having
No
put dogs
one likes
down.
to lose a pet, especially in these circumstances.
Will you
We have
pass
our
this
sympathy.
to me? Sorry.
All right, moving on to the public forum. Karen Krebs. Reminder of the 3-minute rule.
Good evening. Happy spring. So I have a little lighter topic. As a patron of the parks, especially Booster Park here, couple ideas that I think would be really fabulous to have out there. One would be a pollinator garden, perennial garden for our pollinator friends out there. And also to help alleviate some of the mosquito population, I think some bat boxes would be really awesome. And as a member of our local Lions Club, our motto with our district this year is growing our pride. And that's more than just growing the members that we have. Part of that is really tying in with our community. And these just seem like they'd be really some really cool community projects that my club doesn't know it yet, but I just thought of it today, so I'm here. And just wondering if there's anything that the city has to help us with that, if there's anything that we need to do, any guidance. I did reach out to Julie Brassett to see if Anoka County has any grants for any of these items. And I understand we might be late in the year for that, but I'm open to anything on that. And then also, I think it'd be really cool to have a little library in our park here. I'm here at this park quite a bit. There's a lot of kids, a lot of adults who use it. Again, I think it's a great community project. Maybe we'll reach out to the Cub Scouts or something like that, but I just wanted to put that out there and see if there's anything that the city can do to help with that. Any questions?
Great ideas,
Okay.
and the Cub Scouts could be, you're talking about one of those little exchange library kind of things?
Right,
Where you-
where you can take a book, put in a book.
Yes, I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, and then with the pollinator garden, I know that when a new development goes in, there's money set aside for parks. Just, I would like to put out there for consideration to have a pollinator garden in these parks, at least, maybe not all parks, but in larger parks where it's feasible. I think it'd be really awesome to have. Thank you.
Great idea.
Yep, thank you, Karen.
Yeah, I think if you talk to Nate, might be able to put your two heads together and come up with some suggestions, and be a great topic to bring up at Park Commission. Yep. Thank you, Karen.
All right, Tammy Kimball.
Mine isn't so light. I hope one day I can come up here with something like that. I was looking at the minutes for, or the packet for this meeting, and I came across line D of the consent agenda. I'm assuming that you guys have all read through the packets. Improve hire of a part-time office intern. So in there, I had seen that the person, Madison Look, had the last name of our city administrator. So I sent an email, but I didn't get anything in reply, so I don't know if you want to answer me here.
This is your opportunity to speak to the council.
So I figured that was going to be the answer, so I dug deeper myself, and I found out that it is a relative of Matt Luck. And I mean, we all know that just hiring someone that is a relative isn't a good idea in any case, really. And in this case, probably a really, really bad idea. That person is also supposed to be doing the digitizing, or that's what I'm understanding is there's a room that has all these boxes that have all the old paperwork from years and years ago, and that stuff isn't digitized yet. And it was supposed to be digitized or started last summer, fall. And then that person, apparently I thought it was done, that person, I've been hearing that it's digitized, the stuff's digitized, because obviously I have an issue, or the city has an issue with me, and that stuff my stuff is in that room. And I guarantee my stuff is in that room. And to now hear that a person that has been giving me all these inconsistencies is related to the person that you guys are possibly going to hire it is concerning to me. Just going over my notes.
I would think it'd be an investment to your advantage just to get these done, period. Whether, who does it, for
No.
one thing,
I-
and it'd be better a third party that's not in the city do it, period, also, because there is a lot of data in there that citizens could look at, and we would have an issue at that point because of the data practice laws, so, I mean,
And just for informational, it was not included in our packet, but a notice was sent out by Mr. Look, explaining the possible intern approval, and he did disclose that Ms. Look is his niece.
Right now is a time when a lot of the high school kids and college kids are going to be looking for a job. And from what I understand, that was posted for like 2 weeks. I can guarantee you're gonna find somebody if you repost it, and then this part of it is done. I mean, it's up to you. I'm just up here to be on the record is all.
this job
It's been almost a year that it's been posted and reposted.
Yeah, it's been posted, reposted. We had people coming on board and they back out.
And now we have somebody, like, okay, I'm on record. That's all I was looking
Yep.
for. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second, and I would like to pull item F.
I'd like to pull item A. I'd like to pull item A and C.
Both of you on A? Okay, that's it. Okay, so have a motion to accept the consent agenda. We got a second as amended?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor as amended?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None heard. Item A.
All right, let me see where I have this highlighted here in the bills. I'm curious, haven't seen this charge. I'm wondering if it's something new or something that's been relabeled under the building inspection process. State surcharges from the Department of Labor and Industry, 2,600.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is a quarterly charge that we get from the Department of Labor and Industry. Essentially, the way it works, for every permit that we have that's a flat fee permit, $1 goes to, we'll call them Dolly, Department of Labor and Industry. If it's a valuation-based permit, so for example, you're putting on an addition and it's X amount of value and your permit's based on that, they get a percentage of that. So I question this from the standpoint that, we get X number of permits a quarter and it doesn't quite, we don't get 2,600 permits a quarter, so it's not the dollar one, it's based mostly on the valuation part. But anyways, that gets sent back to the Department of Labor and Industry on a quarterly basis, and they use it to fund their, whatever they use it to fund it.
Okay.
So,
I'll turn A over to you.
I'm looking for mine, I can't find it. There was a spot in here that had T-shirts for like $1,300.
Fire Department.
Was it the fire department?
I think so.
want me to explain that?
Yeah, it's under clothing and personnel.
Yeah. Clothing, yeah.
Yeah, so Mr. Mayor and Council, these are the duty T-shirts that the firefighters use. It's an order that probably goes out every 2 years. It's an order for, I'm showing about 85 shirts. all different sizes, but essentially it's, you've probably seen the firefighters where it says, fire department on the back and a logo on the front. 4-color logo on the front, which is the logo of the fire department. 4-color logos and printing aren't inexpensive. And essentially what the fire chief needed to do was to replace the ones that had holes in them and faded and washed out and that sort of thing. And again, it's a purchase that happens approximately every 2 years, so depending on abuse.
Okay, I just thought like $1,300 was quite a bit for t-shirts.
Based on the quantity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You have any more, Tim? I'll make a motion to approve item A on the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard, motion passes. Item F.
See?
E.
Let's see.
Oh, I thought B and C were called.
Nope.
Yeah, C was.
Was C? Okay. Item C then.
And, yeah, I did that one on C, on page 36, on 8-0, right below that, it says Miller stated, I'll make a motion to approve Berglund, Baumgartner, and Glazer. I made that motion and he seconded, so they have it backwards.
Okay, Smith. Second Miller. We'll get that changed.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item C on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Item F.
Item F is approval of hire of seasonal maintenance employees. Is this an increase? Haven't we always had 1 or 2 and now it's 3? Is that correct, or am I mistaken? I might be mistaken, but I thought it was 1 and maybe 2, but now it's 3?
You are correct. We approved this in, I think it was in the write-up there back in February. We have an employee who's out on extended workers' comp leave.
Oh, that's right.
And we're not sure when he's gonna be back, so you always have 2. This year we're looking for 3. One of these that we're looking at to hire here is probably only gonna be here for a short time. He just completed his education, so he's probably gonna get a full-time job at some point.
Got it.
That being said, if anybody's looking for a part-time job, we need some applications, so.
right.
Put that word out there.
Thank you. With that, I'll make a motion to approve item F.
Second.
We have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. 7A, Planning Commission.
Oh, the big one, sorry.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Again, just number one, thank you again for allowing me to work with you all, and I look forward to this meeting and working with you as time goes on, and I'll try to be as brief as possible, and there's a lot of information to go through here.
Is your mic on? It doesn't sound like.
The light, I'll speak a little closer.
Better.
You gotta speak closer to it.
There you go. So, Mayor and Council, the first item before you tonight is a variance request for 656 192nd Avenue Northeast, legally described as Lot 2, Block 2, Brookside Place. There is a site map on the screen. The applicant, who is here, Ms. Lindsay Plaisance, seeks approval to keep 1 horse on this property. In the rural residential zoning district, that use may be considered through an interim use permit. However, section 10-151C of the East Bethel Code does not allow consideration of an interim use permit on platted lands unless you were to consider and grant a variance from that condition. Let's see if I can find that. Her lot is shown on the screen as Lot 2 in that Brookside Place plat. Accordingly, at this time, this matter comes before the council as a two-step process. First, the requested variance from the platted land restriction, and second, if the variance is approved, the related interim use permit. As I noted, under section 10151C of the East Bethel City Code, domestic farm animals cannot be considered on a platted parcel unless certain conditions are met. In this case, variance relief is being requested because the Brookside subdivision does not meet an additional required threshold for the number of lots over 3 acres. And without that relief, the city cannot consider that interim use permit. In reviewing the variance, I'll touch base on this site. Again, an image of showing the rural residential zoning for this property, and the blue dot is the applicant. And then your comp plan also shows this as rural residential. I'm a little unfamiliar with some of the maps you folks might prefer, so I grabbed what I understood. So, in reviewing the variance, the city is applying a 3-part practical difficulties test. That means looking at whether the request is first reasonable, second, whether the difficulty is due to circumstances unique to the property and not created by the applicant, and third, whether the approval would alter the essential character of the locality. Property is designated rural residential, and the keeping of domestic farm animals through that interim use permit is consistent with that rural residential land use pattern. Again, here, the request is limited to 1 horse and a 3.49 acre parcel, which supports a finding that is reasonable use. The record also supports that approval will not alter the essential character of the area, especially given the rural setting and the fact that the abutting properties both to the north and south each maintain horses. Let's see if I have it better. Actually, kind of north and kind of southeast, obviously. As stated in the resolution in your packet, a practical difficulty associated with the property arises from section 10-151C, which prevents consideration of an interim use permit for domestic farm animals on platted lands, even where the parcel exceeds 3 acres in size. The circumstance was not created by the applicant, but results from the property's status as part of a previously recorded subdivision plat and the interaction of that restriction with the parcel's size and its zoning context, certainly from a rural residential area. So this request was reviewed by the Planning Commission following a public hearing on March 24th, 2026. Planning Commission recommended approval under the resolution 2026-1, which is in your packet. So with that action, before the council tonight is a draft, or in your packet, Council Resolution 202619, approving the requested variance from 10-151C with a number of conditions. And so that if you do approve that, you then may certainly consider the interim use permit as that second piece. So with that, I'll certainly do my best to stand for questions.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-19 with the conditions as stated in the packet.
I'll second, but I have questions on these resolutions because there's a 2026 blank, two blanks, 01 and a 19, and are they all the same, or are we picking one? What's the difference?
Well, I'm
'Cause
sorry.
I read them and I'm like, this sounds like the last one I read.
Sure. Mayor, Council, Councilmember Urkel, you're not incorrect at all. In the large body of the packet, in the staff reports, there are blanks in those resolutions because we don't have a number or conceptually assigned. But the Planning Commission did adopt a resolution, and that should be in your packet as attachment. Let me pull that up here for you. 202601, and that was kind of the first step. And then your draft, what's in your packet, working with Carrie Frost, the labeling should be 202619.
So do we need to approve both of those?
No, ma'am, just the 202619. I might have implemented a slightly different process than you might have been used to, where I've asked the planning commission to make their own findings of fact and formulate their own resolution. It, in effect, is nothing more than a set of recommendations to you, but it brings it all together so they don't have to, formulate those things verbally.
So resolution
Okay.
2026-01 is a resolution for the planning commission, and resolution what came to be 2026-19
That's the one we're approving.
is the one we're
Yes, sir.
approving.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to say that I was out at the property and I took a look at it, and there's horses, if you're facing her house, there's horses on the right side, I think there's 3, and I believe there's horses on her left side also.
I think
And I
those-
just want to thank her for going through the right motions to do this. I think it's great. It says a lot about her, and I'm all for this.
I too am all for this. It's her dream come true, and I'm glad to be part of a dream.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard, motion passes. Item 2, the IUP.
All right. Thank you again, Mayor and Council. As I mentioned, the second item involved in this is the interim use permit itself for keeping one domestic farm animal, again specifically one horse on the same property.
It's 2-0. Okay.
2-0, correct.
Yeah.
Let's see. This request, again, is contingent on the approval of the variance, which you've granted, but it is distinct in something that we have prepared for you separately. Again, the property is in the rural residential zoning district, and the findings before you in that draft resolution, that the proposed use appears capable of meeting the applicable code standards for pasture lands, shelter setbacks, manure management, animal health and welfare, along with the interim use permit review criteria. Again, the Planning Commission also recommended approval of the interim use permit, and is found in the Planning Commission Resolution 2026-02.
2-0.
2-0. No, it should be 02.
Oh,
For the Planning Commission
Oh, for
resolution.
planning, I'm sorry.
I'll label these potentially better if we get
The planning is 02.
All right. The proposed conditions in the council resolution 2026-20 and the draft IUP, which is in your packet, limit the use to one horse, require at least 1 acre of fenced pasture land, requires compliance with applicable building and operational standards, requires ongoing compliance with the city code, provide that the permit is not transferable and may be revoked if the property is not maintained in compliance. It does have a 6-month non-use termination. So if she doesn't have a horse on that property for 6 months or something, then it would vacate. The companion interim use permit in your packet is intended to carry these approval terms forward. So similar from a variance standpoint, and the second action before you is a resolution 2026-20, approving the interim use permit for one horse at 656 192nd Avenue Northeast, subject to the listed conditions.
Make a motion to approve resolution 2026-20 with the conditions in our packet.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes.
Congratulations.
Enjoy your horse.
Enjoy it. Item 3, Dairy Queen.
All right. Okay. Again, a lot of information, so I'll do my best to be brief. Mayor and Council, The next item before you is a Dairy Queen application from P. Magnus Inc. and EB Commercial LLC for the property south of the existing Quick Trip near the intersection of 187th Lane and Sand Hill Parkway Northeast. Let's see, I'm gonna find a better image. That'll do. The site is currently legally described as Outlot B, Elevage EB First Edition. The request is for an amended plan unit development, site plan review, preliminary plat, and final plat to allow the construction of a 2,554 square foot Dairy Queen restaurant with drive-through service, indoor and outdoor seating, related site improvements. Property is guided mixed use. In the 2040 comprehensive plan, it is also zoned mixed use, so the proposal is consistent with both the current zoning and the city's land use plan. So on your screen, you have just the zoning showing your mixed use and, let's see, your proposed future comp plan, site plan use, or site use. All right. Page down. I mentioned the Elevage EB First Edition plat. This, as you see on the screen, Outlot B is shown in yellow, and that was from that plat in approximately 2021 as that outlot. Let's see. Here it is again. This site was originally, or at least previously, conceptualized for a daycare use in that Elevage First Edition development, and it was part of a 2021 PUD agreement. When these are conceptualized, certainly it doesn't inherently lock anybody into one specific form. These are shown as representative only. And if you ever look back at these things in very small detail, that was shown the possibility of a daycare, but certainly a commercial use is what was it intended for. So the Planning Commission held a public hearing on March 24th and recommended approval of this via resolution, their resolution 202603. The proposed plat would replat the property from Outlot B into Lot 1, Block 1, DQ East Bethel. Let's see, and it would be a single lot, single block plat as shown on your screen. Generally, the proposed building is consistent with the city's architectural standards. Including quality landscaping. It screens its rooftop mechanical equipment with raised parapets. The only requested deviations to your required architectural limitations are the signage package, increasing the maximum sign area from 144 square feet to 209 square feet, and the location of the freestanding sign. I'm going to show you where those are. The freestanding sign is in this, let's see, what direction would be this? Westerly portion of the property here. The requirement is 20 feet. Their proposal is approximately 12 feet. And from a signage, the entire, this picture represents how it looks on the building, but also note that the applicant did increase the glazing, the window size, raise the roof lines, and it's compliant with your ordinances related to building materials, EFIS, aluminum paneling, and the like. The lighting is fully screened. Doesn't show up here on that sense, but their plans do show compliance. And then their final site, let's see, find their signage plan. There's their signage plan, and these in total are 209 square feet. City does not count the reader boards for the menu boards or wayfinding as part of that sign calculation. But 209 square feet is the maximum they are proposing. Finally, they are, let's see. The map on the screen shows the final trail connections and sidewalk connections that will be done at completion. Many of the sidewalks are completed in the development to the east. Certainly the sidewalk corners and the ped ramps are not, but ultimately they'll be required to connect from that neighborhood to the front of the cul-de-sac or the roundabout. So with that, the action before the council is for you to consider is resolution 202621, which would approve the amended plan unit development, the site plan review, preliminary plat, and final plat for this DQ East Bethel. It references the submitted plans, the exhibits, and certainly would be subject to the listed conditions. I would note that staff would come back with a final PUD amendment agreement shortly, once we get all those details buttoned up. I think that's all I can add. So I'll do my best to answer questions for you.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2021-19, approving the planned unit development master plan for the development known as Elevage East EB for properties legal described in Exhibit A and shown in Exhibit B, the Dairy Queen.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion?
I just want to say I like the larger sign because it's the distance from 65. It's so hard to see just the Quick Trip. I'm still frustrated that I can't see the gas prices at Quick Trip. And I'm excited because Dairy Queen is one of my favorite drive-thrus, so watch out.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I apologize. If it's okay with Councilmember Urkel, I believe the resolution number, for the record, I know our city attorney might ask me a question, might be 2026-21. And if I misheard, that's entirely possible, as on the screen.
Well, what am I looking at?
Again, they are
You said
duplicative.
2021, so I repeated. All right, I'll just say I'll revise that to 2026-21.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None heard.
Do we have more to approve on this, or just
No.
this? Because I read somewhere in here that we're approving the preliminary plat and the final plat.
We did roll all those together into one resolution.
Okay. Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yep.
All right, item 4.
All right, I'm gonna have to catch up with you here. Just one second. Yeah, if you can.
I'll take it,
on the
Mr. Mayor.
screen, that'd be great.
Item 4 is the appointment of Planning Commission member. There was a current vacancy on the Planning Commission resulting from a member stepping down. And the Planning Commission did solicit applications for residents to fill the seat. And Mr. Balfini's term was slated to run through 1/31/27. This would be filling that term. It would be a partial term. The city received 2 applications of Miss Lindsay Crescenzo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Miss Julie Lux, and both were interviewed on March 24th, and the Planning Commission came away with the recommendation of Miss Lux, and you have before you the staff memo, including the applications, and current chart with listed appointment dates on there. So anyways, recommendation, we'd request the council appoint one of the 2 candidates to the Planning Commission with a term ending on 1/31/27.
I'll make a motion to appoint Ms. Lux as planning as recommended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I do want to bring something up here. We've taken the EDA back to its original form using council members, how it started in the beginning. And having been in these meetings with Julie Lux, and having her chair the meetings, she gained a lot of respect from myself because of her knowledge and how she does her meetings. I've watched the Planning Commission meeting. I've watched both interviews. I think when you take a look at what the council does and how it uses its advisory board members, I don't think we're gaining anything by moving Julie from one committee to another. I have no problem sitting in the EDA and relying upon her direction and expertise because she's been there for a long time. And it actually carries over longer on a term, so to speak. This Lindsay had a phenomenal interview also. I think we gain more by bringing someone new onto the Planning Commission and leaving Julie exactly where she feels comfortable, and we need her there. And that's my opinion about it. I think we're losing one potentially very good committee member and moving one who's already a very good committee member in the chair to a different and shorter position with the city. That's my 2 cents about it.
I tend to agree. Julie is brilliant. She has some amazing expertise, and her expertise is through the EDA. I feel Lindsay did an amazing interview, and she has some expertise as an engineer and multiple other skills that I think she could bring to the city that the city hasn't seen before. And I think Julie still has a couple years as an EDA, and there's a good possibility we may lose another planning commission. But until then, I want to get as much information and knowledge from Julie as possible.
I agree. I believe Julie's very good on the EDA. She's been on there for many years, and I would appreciate her staying there. And I watched both interviews, and I was impressed with Lindsay. She did very well, and I think she could really help our planning commission and our residents also.
I can understand the reasoning. The only thing I would say is this is a decision that Julie made to apply. So what we could do is table that and ask Julie what she would like to do.
I don't think we need to table it.
Me neither.
Julie made the decision, and I think looking forward, she wants to be more in the mix with the city and everything, not just sit back with the EDA, which meets maybe once, twice a year. She wants to be more productive through the city because she does enjoy working for the city with it. So that's my 2 cents on it. Any further discussion? There's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's do a roll call on that to make sure. Jim, you're a nay or a?
Nay.
Tim?
Nay.
I'm a aye.
Aye.
And you-
Nay.
Nay. All right. That motion fails. I'll entertain a new motion.
We'll have to make a motion to put Lindsay on.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I believe the transparency that we expect from the city and respect we get from our planning commission as a recommendation we should consider. And I think we're doing an injustice by doing this.
I got one question. Was the vote for Julie unanimous? on the
No,
planning
it was
commission?
3 to 2.
3 to 2.
Okay.
And I think one person was not there.
all I got.
No, I just think it's a win-win for the city if we keep Julie right where she has to train a new EDA. EDA is gonna get more visibly active in the next year as we move forward. We don't lose anybody in this deal. Both committees stay strong. I don't think we're doing it injustice. I think we're helping out our committees get stronger and keeping our key people where they do the best right now. But that's my opinion.
I
Any
think it's a
further?
good management decision.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
Nay. And I'd like to say that's not necessarily a vote against Lindsay. I do recognize her background. She's very well educated, and I do believe that she is an excellent candidate. I vote against it just based on, I would like to follow the recommendation of the Planning Commission.
All right. Departments, community development.
Mr. Mayor, on the agenda here is a discussion for short-term rentals. We've had this come before us in a work session before. Actually, this is going to be going to the Planning Commission on the 28th. So what I might suggest is that we postpone discussion on this until after such time as the Planning Commission has worked through these details and you know, worked with our senior planner and kind of come out with best path forward. And then if that's agreeable with the council, we can put that into a format that would be suitable for approval at that point. So if it would be all right with you, Mr. Mayor, we should postpone this until the next meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
This regarding the Airbnb?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to item E, Public Works.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. I have two items for you tonight. Both of these are kind of related. In the past, we had bid both of these items as part of a North Metro Joint Powers Agreement with a bunch of cities in Anoka County. Coon Rapids was a lead agency on it. In 2025, they decided they did not want to run this group any longer. It was a lot of time and work for them. So each city's out, has to go get the quotes and stuff on their own. The first item there is 8.0E1, which is our crack sealing contract for 2026. This is a regular maintenance item that we do on our city streets. We received 3 quotes that are shown there for you. Attachment 1 shows the location of the proposed crack sealing for this year. We have 65,000 linear feet planned. For the low bid there from Allied Blacktop is $45,000. And that's the one we're gonna recommend for this project too. We had $100,000 budgeted for this item and the next item on here, so we're well below what we have budgeted for 2026 too, so.
Nate, I'm just curious, why is there a big difference on these bids? I mean, is there different material, or are they all bidding the same material?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't know if they're trying to think they can pull one over, but Allied's done it in the past. They were always been kind of a lower bid. The second group on there is a local company. They do smaller projects, but we fit kind of in their what they could handle. We're kind of the biggest, is about as big as they can go. And that Northwest Asphalt, they've had the contract in the past, but for some reason they came in really high on this quote.
Okay, thanks.
How do you do this, about getting bids? Do you send out a mass proposal, email, mail, and people just come, different
We do
companies come
that
back?
for when we're doing a sealed bid operation for a quote. We just solicit from different groups, from different agencies we've used in the past. So a couple of these are ones that have been the low in the past, so we asked them again this year.
Okay.
Same with the next item as well.
Okay, thanks.
Because of the value of the contract, we don't have to do the sealed bid process. We're below that threshold, so we can just get quotes on it, so.
I'll make a motion for approval of 8.0E1.
Second.
Allied Blacktop.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? None being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes. Go to item 2 there, Nate.
Yep, item 8.0E2 is the road striping contract, so this is the repainting of our lines on our high-volume, high-speed roads. We have it set up right now that we do it every 2 years. We do half the city. This is kind of the smaller half. The one we'll have next year will be a little bit bigger contract because it includes all the service roads along Highway 65, so it's a little bit bigger quantity. Same process here. We solicited 3 quotes. Sir Lines-A-Lot has done the project for these cities for a long time. They've actually purchased a couple of their biggest competitors, so we're kind of running out of options. But Safety Signs is another large company, and Schroeder Striping is a kind of a smaller company that gave us a pretty good price as well. But we would recommend Sir Lines-A-Lot again for this contract. And attachment 1 shows the location for the repainting of our lines this year.
I'll make a motion to approve 8.0E-2, Sir Lines-A-Lot.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None being heard. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nate.
Item G, City Administrator, item 1.
Okay, Mr. Mayor and Council, before you here this evening is to consider the approval of the attorney contract. The City of East Bethel's contract with Eckberg Lammers for legal services is set to expire on May 31st, 2026. January 26th, the council authorized staff to solicit requests for proposals. There were 2 submittals on this, Eckberg Lammers and Berglund, Baumgartner, and Glaser. At the March 9th, 2026 council meeting, representatives from both firms were here and made proposal to the council. And on the 23rd, the council directed staff to negotiate a contract with Berglund, Baumgartner, and Glaser for consideration of approval. Before you here this evening is that contract. And just a couple of the highlights of that, we'll call them BBG. Will provide the municipal services the city at an hourly rate of $2.25 per hour for attorney time and $100 per hour for paralegal time, $335 per city council meeting or any board or commission meeting that they're requested to attend, and $325 per hour for reimbursable developer-related services. So for example, if a developer comes in, needs legal work done, we would pass those costs through to them. And BBG will also provide the prosecution services to the city based on a flat monthly rate of $9,500 per month. So that's going to be your code enforcement issues or your DWIs or those type of cases, prosecutorial cases that are argued in court. So before you is the contract, and council is asked to review this and consider it for approval this evening. Stand for any questions.
I'll make a motion to approve Berglund, Baumgartner, and Glaser, their contract.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I have a quick comment if you'll indulge. I know at the discussion there were several comments about services that you wanted to see in this contract. One was a particular attorney serving in this role. This contract does not include that language. Another piece that is not in this language is that their RFP response and presentation included any appellate work as part of the fixed fee, but this contract pays them a rate of $120 an hour for that appellate work. I think the council should be aware of those 2 items. There's also an undisclosed software charge and service fees that are not identified in any sort of numerical context in the contract.
You can make a contingent on that.
I saw that and I was going to ask if you knew how much that might come to, the software, additional software fees.
I'm not aware of the cost. We can clarify that with them, but I would assume it'd probably be negligible.
I'd like to add to my motion that Mark Berglund is the attorney at our council meetings.
Do we want to look into these other costs? I mean, this isn't due till the 31st
Yeah, we can.
of May.
Is the paralegal something, an additional cost that they didn't
Wanna
talk about
table it?
before? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we can table it.
Just to make sure.
Councilmember Urkel asked a question. I'm not sure if the whole group heard.
Did you guys hear? I asked if the paralegal is an additional cost that was not mentioned in the contract, or it was mentioned.
So,
The paralegal rates are in the contract and they are the same as were in the proposal.
Okay, what did you mention that?
Appellate work. So
Appellate work.
When the city prosecutes, if that defendant appeals a conviction, it will go to the Court of Appeals and potentially to the Supreme Court. Those services were pitched as being part of the fixed fee, and they are now appearing at an hourly rate as not part of a fixed fee.
Okay, with
a kind
these things that came up right now, I want to remove my motion.
Second that.
Should we make a motion I'll make a motion to table till these questions get answered.
We need to vote on what I said, or remove it.
I'll second your motion.
Thank you.
Do we, first off, we got to rescind,
Right.
we got to rescind the first motion.
But he did that.
Okay.
This,
Don't we have to?
But we
Point-
have
point
to
of
vote
order.
on it. Do we have
It's
to vote
been-
on it?
motion has been made and seconded. It belongs to the body, so it does need to be
Right.
rescinded, or if the body chooses to unanimously allow it to be
Yeah, right.
rescinded,
But
you
Well,
He
you guys are
rescinded
still
it.
take the vote.
He rescinded
Yeah,
it.
I rescinded it.
Well, with the
Let-
second.
Do we
Now
need
we
to
should
vote on
have, we should have a vote from the
Okay.
body,
Okay.
because it belongs
Okay.
to the entire council, not just to
Okay,
Mr.
there's
Smith.
been a motion to rescind the original motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? All those in favor of rescinding the first motion, say aye. Aye. Okay, looking for a new motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion
To table.
to table it.
Oh, second.
Blanked.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? None being heard. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, none heard. All right, we made it through it. Item 2 is at Fall Town Hall.
okay, Mr. Mayor, before you this evening is setting the fall town hall meeting and choosing a date. It's going to be held in November, and it's going to be held after elections, so that there's not that necessarily that issue that comes up. But we've reviewed and found that there's no conflict with the following, the evening meetings with ISD 15 or ISD 831, or the commissions and committees for East Bethel. And so the available dates that you have are Tuesday, November 17th, Wednesday, November 25th, Wednesday, November 18th, out of order, or Monday, November 30th.
So I have a conflict with the 17th.
Okay.
The 25th is the day before Thanksgiving. Not sure, I think more people would be prepping for Thanksgiving. Where the treat that as a Friday and may not be so inclined to come to a open house meeting.
Is that good or bad? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Depends if you're serving turkey.
Yeah.
The best date on there for me is Monday, November 30th after Thanksgiving, because there's all that prep work if you're entertaining, and these are kind of late, close to Thanksgiving. So I do Monday, November 30th.
It's fine by me.
That'll work.
Yep, that'll work.
All right, November 30th.
And our town hall is coming up here in the 22nd,
Motion.
29th.
29th.
Oh, want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to make Monday, November 30th, our fall town hall date.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None heard. Motion passes. Item 9A, staff report.
Okay, Mr. Mayor and Council, I've got a couple of items to discuss this evening. I just wanted to touch base, first of all, on some of the comments that were made at the public forum. It was stated that we've been trying to fill this position for this data transcription work for the last 2 years, and I believe that's accurate. We had 2 interested parties that didn't show up. And I think part of it has to do with folks just maybe don't want a part-time job, and quite honestly, this is going to be monotonous. So, but as was stated, we have a room full of documents that date back to the beginning of time, and in the event of a fire or something like that, we would lose all of those things. So it is critical that we find somebody that can come in and do this. I had a niece who was in between jobs, moving up from Tennessee. She has a marketing degree, very sharp young lady, and she was the only one that applied for the position when we had it out there. And we looked at the policy. I actually have the policy here that essentially covers employment of relatives, and it says more than one family member may not be employed within any department where one family member or relative supervises or has the ability to recommend hire, fire, or promote another relative, or where there may be a conflict of interest or not in the best interest of the city as determined by the city administrator. She was interviewed by Mike and Carrie. She will be reporting to Mike and Carrie. I will have nothing to do with that. We're just hoping she sticks around until the job is complete, because it is critical that we get this done. She's a sharp young lady. Again, as indicated, a marketing background. As you know, we're going through a website redo. She may be able to help on that. And we're also going through, kind of working through this new newsletter that should be coming out soon, by the way, good news. And she may be able to kind of break up some of the monotony and doing some of that work as well. So it is a 6-month position, 6 month or less. And she understands that. She's actually interested in applying with City of Ramsey as a communications person over there, so we may end up losing her. But at any rate, it'll be great to have somebody in that position to get that work done. And I'm very pleased that she was willing to help us out. I think she's doing us a favor. So as indicated, the newsletter should be coming out here shortly. If it hasn't already landed, I would think I would have gotten some nods if it's landed, but I don't think it's landed yet. Wanted to find my page of notes here. Wanted to just touch a little bit on the audit. Again, I want to thank Mike for an outstanding job. When you get a clean audit, you've succeeded. You win. The state right now will not get a clean audit for obvious reasons of fraud and other things that have gone on. But it is our goal always to get a clean audit. We run a tight ship over here in terms of signatures and everything that needs to happen for purchases to happen. And we're constantly looking for fraud, not internal, although we keep an eye on that, but external fraud where people are trying to submit fake invoices or whatever the case is and try and get payment. You've read of some of the cities that have fallen prey to that, and it is a real concern out there. So we have great internal processes here to prevent that from happening. The savings, as indicated, was from the savings from the budget this year is $163,980. The majority of that is attributed to the community development director that we have not filled that position in. I'm filling that position and kind of doing double duty. But things are a little slow on the community development front, so that's good. We anticipate that to be picking up, though. You saw Dairy Queen come through and some other projects. As the news gets out of Highway 65 and the work being done there, we will see, and we're getting phone calls, we'll see more and more development pressures coming as a result of that. So sometime in the future, we may need to fill that position as a full-time position, but currently, I think we're managing well with that. And then the final thing I just wanted to touch base on, and I mentioned this at the breakfast, is the photo contest that we're going to have. Photo contest. So if you are an amateur photographer, perhaps a professional photographer, you have pictures of East Bethel, sunrises or sunsets or wildlife or something of interest that you want to submit, please do that. And if it is selected, it will be put on the website. So it'll be memorialized for, I don't know forever, but certainly for a long time on the website. But as part of this website redo that we're doing, we can either use stock photography, which is very expensive, or we can provide our own photography. And part of that is either we have it or we ask the community to step up and engage in a contest. So I would encourage folks to do that. And if you're a lucky winner, there is a prize. So, but aside from that, that concludes my report unless there's any questions.
Well, if you were wondering why I asked you this week who the new intern was going to report to, that was it.
That's it.
That was it.
Oh, I want to make sure that I have nothing to do with it. So.
All right, council reports.
Had a couple meetings last week, Sunrise River Water Management Organization, not a whole lot there. We did have a report that we reviewed that is being sent to the state that's essentially a review of the work that we've done and our projects. So that was a kind of a good overview, and that should be posted on the Sunrise's website. Also had the Booster Day planning meeting last week. Things are coming together. The parade is starting to come together, starting to get people involved there. So I'd make a call out that if there's any local businesses, any local groups, churches, clubs that would like to be involved in the parade, either contact Stephanie Dorn through the website, Booster Day website, Party in the Park, or I believe you can sign up for the parade right from that website.
What time is the parade?
I want to say 3 o'clock, but don't quote me. So I'm pretty sure it's 3 o'clock. And the second, we are still looking for volunteers, whether you want to help with the planning of the city celebration, or if you would like to just volunteer for an hour or two on the day of. So there are plenty of areas where help is always needed and it's always appreciated. So again, if you're interested with that, feel free to just come to another Booster Day meeting, or there are ways to apply through the Booster Day website. So that's all I have.
Suzanne?
I did attend the planning commission meeting. I wanted to attend the breakfast, but I was actually in the ER that day. So, which was my birthday, very fun. And I would like Stephanie to give me a call because we need to work on the vendor craft vendor fair part of that thing, so I need to know where
Yeah.
I stand, so.
That was discussed. We had members of the seniors there
Oh, they
at
were
the,
there.
at the last meeting, so that was discussed and figured out.
Oh, good, okay,
that,
well, I'll find out
Yep.
Thursday. Thank you.
Also, now that things are greening up and everything, I know we approved a new flyover video of the city. Can we move forward with that now that things are getting greened up? So that could go on the website and everything.
Okay.
Get that moving forward, being it was approved. And that's all I have. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make motion adjourn.
I'll second.
Have a motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.